So Speaker Johnson said that he's going to send that bill to the White House today. And the reason why that's important is that it starts a 10-day clock that President Trump can essentially has three choices. He can either sign the bill, he can veto the bill, or he can do nothing. And if he does nothing, that the bill then automatically becomes law. And I think that's where, two of these scenarios are going to play out. He's either going to sign the bill or the bill is going to become law. I don't see President Trump going to veto this bill because even though this bill, he called it Senator Elizabeth Warren's bill, like you noted, it's overwhelmingly bipartisan, and it gives both sides of the aisle the opportunity to go ahead of the midterms and say, we care about affordability, because that is the biggest driver of this bill, is that it's an affordability housing bill. So that's why I think the bill ultimately becomes law.
Well, Nathan, that argument was perfectly cogent, which is why I think I'm going to put some money down on he vetoes it. I mean, why wouldn't he? That's classic Trump.
Well, so President Trump's real, motivation here is to try and get Congress to, like you said, pass the Save America Act. This is the bill that deals with essentially citizenship voting. He even said that just a few moments ago on True Social in response to the Supreme Court. Now, what I think ultimately happens here is that, they're trying to get Save America Act through reconciliation. Long story short is it's not going to work. But if they try and get something tied to grants, and the idea here right now is that you offer $4 billion in grants to states to incentivize to implement the Save America Act, that could be a pathway forward for essentially Speaker Johnson to say to the White House, look, we're doing what you've asked, we're doing it within the role of what we can get through Congress, sign the bill. I think that's where President Trump will ultimately agree to, but we'll see. He can always veto it because nobody expected him last week to say that he wasn't going to sign it either.
Okay, so here's my question about this housing bill. How effective is it? Because there's an affordability crisis in the country, and this is a federal bill, so it tries to do things at the federal level. But states have their own laws and regulations and rules. So does this bill, if it becomes law, really move the needle?
So there's a short-term and there's a long-term aspect to this. From the short term, if you're listening to us right now in New York City, is it going to decline the price of homes or make it more affordable? No. You're not really going to see much of a short-term impact on this. This is essentially just messaging from the short-term side. From the long-term side, it's incrementally better for the housing. We've done some analysis. Call it 1 to 3% growth in terms of new homes. Long story, talking about the next 3 to 5 years. But you're really looking at markets like Austin, Texas, or Birmingham, Alabama, rather than New York City or Washington, D.C. At the end of the day, this bill was mostly from the investment side talking about negatives. There was some original language in here that would actually sort of make the build-to-rent communities unfeasible going forward. That was scary for some of the single-family home REITs out there, like Invitation Homes and AMH. But ultimately, there's so many exemptions in this bill, that really scary headline isn't really all that much of an impact for them.